Hello and welcome to Let's Play Dwarf Fortress. My name's Vertnox, Mr. Vertnox if you feel formal. I am going to be doing a Let's Play tutorial of the latest version as of May 21st, 2012 of Dwarf Fortress version 0.34.10. It just came out today of the wonderful game Dwarf Fortress, which is probably the most complicated computer game out there, as far as I know, other than a true flight simulation game, including the cockpit, would have to be more the only game I can think of more complicated. But basically, it's the most fun game I can think of that's free and is kind of a I don't know how to explain it if you've never played it before, but basically a world simulation of a city of dwarves in a dynamically generated world with its own unique history and gameplay. It's just a wonderful game if you've never played it before. It's more addicting than Minecraft, more complicated than Minecraft, and you can sink a lot of hours into it. And I'm going to be doing a tutorial, hopefully trying to explain things to a lot of the people who've never played it before, and to those who like to see other people play Dwarf Fortress. I enjoy seeing how other people play and how they design their forts. And so I'm doing this. It's actually my first Let's Play video, so you have to excuse me if I'm kind of sloppy with the video editing, but hopefully I can show you exactly what you can get into in Dwarf Fortress and hopefully show you how to play it. Actually, one guy on a dare asked me one night while I was on Skype. Some guy from Europe just kind of randomly Skyped me and asked me, what are you playing? I'm going to play it. And I told him Dwarf Fortress, and we sat there for like an hour trying to walk him through the tutorials. It's a very complicated game, and I wouldn't wish it on anybody unless they really want to get into it. Now, the first thing you may notice about the game is that it is kind of using some outdated ASCII graphics. Don't let that fool you. It is a very CPU intensive game. It'll eat up all your memory, all your RAM, all your CPU cycles. It can and will tax even the biggest computer. So let's get started. Personally, I have a secret. I like to use the Ironhand Graphics pack. So I would recommend that for any newbie. It's Ironhand Graphics. And I'm going to search that on Google. It's first hit Ironhand Graphics. It's on hiatus. Unfortunately, this graphic designer, he had some pretty nice graphics. Oh, by the way, if you haven't already, go full screen. Go to 1080p. I'm recording this on the high definition so you can see the graphics, even though I personally, they may be kind of outdated 8-bitish. I personally think highly of the graphics, and it's been well done, especially this graphics pack. So you can see a taste of this right here. Now, to download the latest version of the graphics pack, you do have to go to the last thread. It's not on the first page for obvious reasons because the person doesn't update anymore. Somebody named Golden Shadow has taken over the updates, and he is doing a good job. He updates every day it comes out. He does an update. I've already downloaded the file for the speed reasons, but just click on. You want to do the full version and just do download now. If you're using Firefox, it'll be your downloads. So I'm going to unzip it. Right-click, unzip. If you're not familiar with WinZip, I'm using WinRAR. It's a good zip program. You just want to extract this anywhere on your computer. I am going to extract it to my games folder. Hit OK. It takes a second. And I am going to... Oops, hold on. I had a previous version of this, so let me recreate the shortcut here. It's wherever you extract it to. The main file you're going to be worrying about is, I'm going to actually, it's one of my OCD things. I'm going to name this which version, because I keep multiple versions of Dwarf Fortress on here. Unfortunately, some versions are not save compatible, so you have to to stick with the bugs. But unfortunately, I think the bugs and the additions to this game in the most recent couple patches have made it worth updating to. And that's one reason I'm not using Dwarf Lazy Noob Pack, which is recommended for a lot of newbies out there. Unfortunately, they don't update as frequently as I would like. I know they're probably busy, especially the programmers. They're busy and they don't update, and I'm impatient, so I just use the graphics pack. All right, so we just open up the executable. First thing you notice, it's all text based. I'm gonna hit. I'm gonna get started and create a new world. This is there's no mouse in this. There's no mouse, so I'm using the up and down arrow keys. I'm gonna start creating a new world because that's what we want to do. Here's a warning about the alpha state of the game. It's in perpetual alpha. And let me just run down some things to the new people here about this these options. The world size really doesn't matter unless you're playing adventure. Adventure mode, you can travel the world. Keep in mind, the larger you make the world, the more CPU time you'll need to create it. Generally, I leave it at medium because it really doesn't matter for Dwarf Fortress mode. History, I leave on a medium because I do like history with my statues and in stories and so on. The neat thing is when you build a statue or engrave stone somewhere, you'll get a story of something that's been randomly generated in the history. So I like to give it on medium. It just some people actually like the very long because you get a lot of dragons that way. Dragons take 1,000 years to mature, but you can take up to like 8 hours on a crappy computer to generate a very long history. Number of civilizations, I'm going to leave on medium. Number of sites, I don't care what that means or what that is. I never messed with it. I leave it on medium. I think that's the number of sites you can embark on. Number of beasts, I leave on medium. That includes forgotten beasts and mega beasts, which visit your fort every now and then and try to wreak some havoc. I leave it on medium. That generally gives you enough beasts. If you're really crazy, you can do it on very high. If you're really upset about the beast, do low. But I've never had problems with the mega beasts. Personally, I have had problems with them, but it takes away the fun if you don't have them. Natural savagery, I'm going to put on medium. The world can be just a dangerous place if not for the mythical mega beasts like dragons. You can get mauled by grizzly bears, cougars, tigers. Generally normal, non-magical wild animals can basically tear your face off. So you can set that to high if you really want. But I'm leaving on medium. Mineral occurrences. A lot of people don't understand this, and I want to make a point. A lot of other people in their tutorials have also made this point. You would think if you want a lot of minerals and metals, you would set it to everywhere. That doesn't really work out well because what happens is the metals get separated, like, you got gold, iron, whatever. They all get separated in different spots. They're everywhere, but there's less variety in the site. So if you leave it at sparse or rare, I would leave it on sparse because I play with the default settings on everything. The sparse allows you to have fewer sites of having metals, but more metal variety within that site. Hope that makes sense. So just trust me, leave it on sparse. And I'm going to hit Y to go. Now this takes a while, and I know I'm not using a video editing, so I'm not going to pause. I'm going to give you a general rundown of the game. Just some history about Dwarf Fortress while it's running. It's been around since 2006. Dwarf Fortress has been around for a while. Has gone through a lot of alpha stages. It's kind of an amazing phenomenon. For a free game, it's one of the most fun games out there, in my opinions. But it's completely donation based. It's not open source. The Toady, the developer, he has the code, and he has a thing that says if he dies, he's going to release it on his death, the code. But as long as there's no foul play. I think he mentioned that clause. But anyways, he completely is supported by donations. I have given about $10. I probably feel like I should have gave 15 though, because that's what you usually play for a good DLC, as $15. But he released his numbers. He makes thousands of dollars per month in donations, and this game is amazing support. If you have questions, go to the forums. Go to the generally, I think it's general questions and answers. I've actually posted there today about some questions I had before doing this tutorial, so I wouldn't inform people wrong. Generally, there's a lot of forum support in there. If you do find this game informative or helpful, generally I would go to the forums and help out there as well. If you know things that other people don't, it's always good to help out. Also, it's also good to help support Toady. Eventually, if you don't want to scold people for playing this for free, but it is really what he's done is kind of amazing, especially coding on this by himself. I think he's got like one other person that kind of binary tweaks it. All right, so we've talked about that. Let's talk about the actual map of what's going on. While I was talking, I wasn't just looking at the screen. It was actually doing something. It's going through the uh, history and generating the years. We're going to be doing 250 years worth of history. Kind of a newish age, but again, like I said, if you have a crappy computer, if you do a long history, very long history, this could take up several hours. It generates historical figures, includes the dead, and events, and the historical figures includes variety of like things like kings, queens, vampire kings and queens, werewolves, history of monsters, dragons, generally. And you can go look through this once you've created the world. You can go into your history viewer. I'll mention it when we get to that point, and you can read through like the history of the world. And when this world is making, you can see the civilizations building roads and towers. I think I should have did less civilization because this looks like a lot of civilizations going on. And unfortunately, you can't embark on another civilization. It generally won't let you. Well, unless the fort's been abandoned, and then you can come in and take over. Some other things to mention while we're looking at this. I believe the V stand for volcanoes. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's what V stand for. Purple areas are for newbies as a no-go. There's a Necromancer Tower. I was wrong on it. I was doing a previous next plan. I thought the chest drawers was the Necromancer Towers. There's one right here. And if I really want some fun, I can embark down there. But I don't think I want to show you an example of how to start out playing by going to a Necromancer Tower. So it's represented by this eye down here. And Necromancers are wizards, of course, that raise the dead, which is kind of fun if you play in an adventure mode. You get a horde of undead armies to follow you. But generally, they can raise some havoc. If you, like, let's say you build a fort next to them, and you've got like a bunch of slaughtered animals that you, like, some cows that you butchered, or even chickens and so on that you've butchered for food. Necromancer can raise those animals and they can attack you. Raise them from the dead, and you got some zombie chickens and zombie cows, and ligaments, skeletons coming back to the dead, attacking you. So we won't embark by the eye. So it's got a couple more years to go. I generally like a decent set of history. I always do the defaults. Another thing I'd mention that I do the defaults, there's initialization files, and this is something if you do use the Lazy Noob Pack, you can use a graphical editor to modify the settings. I don't see any point in modifying because by default, unless you get so horribly bad, you're so horribly bad that you can't take invasions, you can turn those off. You can change your population. One thing I do mess with sometimes is the child cap, which when people have children, they have too many children sometimes, and you don't want those children, so you have to put a cap on that, especially when it goes over your population. It can take you over your population limit and get your CPU clogged up with calculations, and that's the only need I would think of modifying the initialization files. Otherwise, I mean, there's some stuff in there you can mess with, but for a tutorial, I wouldn't recommend a newbie messing with them. All right, looks like we're done here. Got a nice world, got a Necromancer Tower. Where'd it go? I don't know. We'll look for it later. I'm going to hit the enter button to accept, and I'm using the arrow keys to look around. There's nothing really I can see from this mode. I'm going to hit the enter key to accept. And it's calculating. It looks like there was 16,000 there's 16,000 characters, which means immigrants that show up at your fort have history, kings, queens of civilizations, goblin kings, generals, uh, lowly peasants, all are listed in this population of 16,393. That's as many characters you're going to get. Actually, I think it will randomly generate more if you happen to kill off the entire world. Some people have in their games somehow has killed off the entire world. I don't know. Through some freak in the history. Sometimes that can happen where a civilization will die off in the world generation, especially in the longer generations. Some like kobolds will often die off. Those that civilization is known to happen to die off, but generally goblins usually survive because they give you a challenge. All right, let's use the arrow keys up and down to move through this menu. I am going to do start playing by pressing enter. Now here's the mode that I mentioned earlier. You can go into your legends and look around at the history of the world, but and then you can do adventure, which is like I call it single player Dwarf Fortress, but it's not really. Both games are single player, but basically you're a single character instead of a fort of a group of dwarfs, and you control that one character, and it's like a turn-based thing. But I'm going to do Dwarf Fortress mode. This is the core game of Dwarf Fortress. Some people say adventure is, but I like Dwarf Fortress better. Truth be told. Anyways, whoa. Actually, I don't know if that would be good. I was looking at this and I saw an Embark site that turned out to be a good one already. We're going to use the arrow keys to move around. We don't want to use the arrow keys to search every single square, and so it would be ridiculous. That's why they have a nice feature. If you hit the F key on your keyboard, there's no mouse, as I mentioned, so you have to hit the keys. F key, and I'm going to do medium temperature. I've been screwed on the previous Embarks where I didn't use this option. Rain doesn't matter. I've never seen it really matter. Unless you're in a desert, but I don't think that matters. But drainage doesn't matter. Fluxstone, yes, that matters. We want a Fluxstone if possible. Aquafire, we do not want an Aquafire, especially if you're just starting out. If you're feeling adventurous, if you play Dwarf Fortress for about a month or so, and you think you're pretty good, you can try with an Aquifer. Aquifers are just a pain to get through. You have to use them. You have to go on the forums, ask them for designs and how to pump aquifers out correctly, and it's just like it's like playing Tetris on crack, I guess the best way to put it. And I've never done it well, I have done a river successfully once, but it froze over and I cheated. But generally aquifers don't freeze, and they're basically a layer of rock filled with water, and you can't dig down to the important stuff, magma, because there's water and your doors drown in it. There's a way to pump it out, but I've heard horror stories where there's 20 layers deep of this rock with water in it. So they basically flood the cavern, they flood their fort, and everyone dies. So you don't want the aquifer. It's not good. Do want a river, though. I'm going to move the arrow key down. And I'm using the left and right arrow keys to toggle this, by the way. If you didn't catch that, there's nothing on the screen that I can see that actually tells you how to do this. So hopefully I've helped out somebody by telling you left and right. Shallow metal, we want yes. Deep metal, we want yes. Soil, we want some. I've sometimes did lots, but I've always gotten too much. And we want clay. I love clay. Actually, clay is the best thing for farming. So I hit the enter key to start searching, and it's going to go through all the land masses and look for, hopefully, oh, we got one hit. It's not that good a sign, though. And it's kind of far north. I don't know about that. Oh, there's another one. That's good. I was like, I don't know. Last time I was actually doing a test run before this, and I got some really bad embarks. All right, let's see. Arrow key, arrow up and down. Oops, I forgot. You have to hit the escape key. It doesn't say what to do. to go back to browse results. So hit the escape key. That doesn't work. That's only very deep soil, shallow metal, clay. There's no trees. I don't want. I like trees because trees are for cutting down, and elves don't like that. And it's a great way to piss off the elves. That's heavily forested, but little soil, some soil. Heavily forested. Let's see. Yeah, I'm using the arrow keys. And you can see on this side it's telling me what it has. Now, the funny thing is it doesn't actually... You think that it would show that... I don't know. You'd think it would actually have the things that I've asked for, like clay and everything, but it doesn't always have that. Untamed Wilds, I'm kind of worried about because I think I'm going to get mauled. I like the name of this. The Melted Seasons, the Stinky. But this says Fluxstone. Wait, where'd it go? Where'd it go? It was just... Oh, I'm looking wrong place. Scabrous Palm. It's heavily forested, warm, untamed wilds, little soil. What is... I really like this. Meddlesome's the Stinky Nation. I don't know. Normally I would want to go for the Flux. In your case, I'd recommend going for the Flux, but I really like the name. The stream is called The Melted Seasons, the Stinky Nation. I feel like I am going to get a good embark here. I don't know why. There's some soil, there's clay, there's no Fluxstone. I mean, the Fluxstone, the only thing you need Fluxstone is to actually make steel from pig iron and iron. I actually figure the process is like you turn iron into pig iron and then you turn... Anyways, it's not really that important, but you can always buy flux if you had to. And generally, I end up buying steel a lot of times, and it's generally not the best metal out there. It's adamantium, however you say that. And that's found in the deepest layers possible. So there's something better than steel. So I'm going to go with this one. Some soil, shallow metals, deep. There's both shallow and deep metals. I like that. Now, I am going to hit the E key to embark. Now, inner, I don't know what inner does on here. But E key to embark on the Melted Seasons, the Stinky Nation. And I'm going to hit the plus, arrow key down. And I'm going to do prepare for the journey carefully. And I'm going to hit the tab button. And first thing I'm going to do is make sure we got... What do we want? No war dog. I'm going to get one war dog of one gender and one dog. I figure what the one is female, one's male. But I figure which symbol is which. But I'm going to do one war dog. I think male is more expensive. Is that right? I don't know. It's probably the male is more expensive. I don't know why that would be. But nope, they're both 31. Never mind. One war dog there. One cat. One dog. Dogs are good, and they'll generally make more puppies if you have male and female. And they're generally good for like sniffing out, you know, thieves and alerting you. And then generally you can stick them out in the front of the fort and they can die for you. But they'll kind of give you a heads up of when somebody's coming to attack you. Cats, you can't really... They're good for killing vermin. Well, you can you can use cats to alert yourself. Actually, they're bad for that because they'll go out, they'll wander around outside, and the goblins will just kill them before they kill anything else. So we got one cat of one, one cat of the other. Another thing I like to recommend for any newbie is you want 5 hens and 1 rooster because you need eggs. Eggs are good. All right. I'm going to hit tab again. Go back from the item screen. I'm going to go back to the peasants. And we're journeying to 8th evening. Let's see. We want to hit the arrow key over to the one to the right. I'm going to make this a minor. It's not as important as the older versions. Older versions or drop rates were depending on the actual skill of the miner. That doesn't matter anymore, apparently. The drop rate's just 25% regardless of your mining skill. But they mine faster, so it's good to get, because you have a lot of stuff to mine in this game, unless you build above ground forts, which I wouldn't recommend for a newbie, but it's something a lot of people do, is they will build up above ground forts. All right, so carpenter, I want the third person to be a carpenter, the fourth to be a mason. Those are good skills. You'll need both of those. And I'll leave the last 3 for whatever. I got points left over, 10. I don't know what I can do with it. Maybe more plump helmet spawns. I always run out. Remind me to show you a trick. Alright, so we got 15 plump helmet spawn. A plump helmet spawn is actually the seed of a plump helmet, which is like a giant mushroom which grows underground. We'll talk about that later when we get to that. Alright, so I think everything else is gone. You don't need everything here, but I'm not going to mess with it. Alright, I'm going to hit the E key to embark. Alright, you have arrived after the journey from the mountain homes into the forbidding wilderness beyond. Your harsh trek has finally ended. Your party of 7, which is kind of like 7 dwarves, I guess, is to make an outpost to the glory of all Nubamist. I can never speak dwarf. That's the name of the civilization, the home city. You're an outpost, basically, to put it in the fort. There are almost no supplies left. That's not true, but with stout labor comes sustenance, whether by bolt, plow, or hook. Provide your dwarves. You're expecting a supply caravan just before winter entombs you, but it is spring now. Enough time to delve secures lodgings. There are yetis lodgings ere the yetis get hungry. So we have yetis. The new chapter of dwarven history begins here in this place. Althening, Ringburn, Strike the Earth. I've seen cooler generated names, but it's not too bad. I'm going to hit the escape key to start. And we're looking pretty good. Alright, hold on. I'm using the arrow keys to move around. The first thing you want to do, probably, in your case, is hit the tab key twice. One to make the mini-map go away, one to move this menu over. The mini-map is not really useful, so I don't know. I don't use that much. Alright. One thing I don't like about this Embark is the water is too far away from the cliffs. I'm using the arrow keys to move around, up and down. Just seeing what we've got here. It's generally nice and flat. What we got clay. Use the K key to actually... Oh. I wonder if that's going to be a problem. Sponge man. I hit the K key to actually see particular squares. Like, see, I'm using the arrow key with the K mode on, and it tells me on this side, it says damp clay wall. And it says river, it's 7 units, 7 deep. And there's a sponge man. I don't think you can kill sponge mans, but I don't know if they're hostile. I don't know. We might get screwed here, but it might be a short let's play. Alright. And you have to... Oh. To move up and down the views, I forgot to mention this. You have to hit the shift less than to move up, greater than to move down. Shift up, greater. This is shift less than up, shift greater than down. Or I don't think there's a way to get that in the other mode. Got lots of clay. Oh, we got a stone wall here. What's this? Is that gypsum? That's shell. It's not too bad. Saltpeter. Can you make gunpowder out of that? There's no guns in this game though, but I was thinking to myself. Bloodstone. That's interesting. Alright. What's this thing? Giant sponge. I might be screwed. I think those things can actually really hurt you. What is this? Long-nosed gar. Alright, well. I think the fishermen are going to get killed in this map. So use the greater than to move up. Well, the first things first is you want to find a place to dig in. And oh, what are these? I hit the K button. Great White Stork. Yeah, that's not. I don't think we're gonna get molested with those. I'm pretty sure Sponge Man's gonna eat the cat. I have to get a new cat. All right. So I'm looking around. You can see here. There's, you got with the graphics packs, you got the dwarves. You can see their individual names. And actually, if you want to see what they're thinking, hit the enter key while you've got them selected. Press enter key again. This says, Alter Lordum has been quite content lately. We'll view these later when they got more information and so on. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but it's just interesting to read some details about that, what god they worship, what their flaws are, and sometimes if they have flaws, like they get too tired, they'll they won't work as hard as the other dwarves and so on. All right, and you got your trees, shrubs. Is that a yak? Oh, we brought a tame buffalo. We always do that. I guess that was for the wagon. The wagons always come with buffaloes. They pull them. And these arrows that point up and these arrows that point down are ramps. Generally, they are ways to walk up a level. You can see here. What is up here? Is this sand? Silt. This is not the best Embark I've seen. My waterfall Embark is the best I've seen. Unfortunately, I'd have to basically... If sometimes I feel like I want to cheat and like use the seed to generate that map and to show you that one, because that was the best map I've ever had so far. This is the waterfall map that I had, which you can sometimes get waterfalls on here. Alright. This murky water. Using the greater than. Yeah, it's stagnant water. We can't drink that. Alright. I'm going to have to find a way to access that water up there. But first we need to dig in the map. And to kind of move back into menus, I always hit the escape key. Let's say I hit like K. Tells me I hit the escape key to back up. So when in doubt, hit the escape back up. If you hit too many times, you get to this return menu. Hit escape again to get back. Alright, first things first. Where do I want to embark? Where do I want to dig? Now, a lot of people quit at this point in the game because it's that you don't know what to do, what the heck's going on. And I don't know. I don't really know where to dig. Kind of picky when it comes to digging. And you kind of want to do it in the middle. You don't want to do it exactly at the top or the bottom. That can cause problems. I'm going to dig right here. I'm going to hit the D key. D is for designations. First thing I'm going to do is clear out these ramps. To remove the ramps, this is, you don't have to do this, I'm just being anal. I'm going to hit the Z key. You see over there it highlights remove upstairs ramps. Put the cursor on one end of here, hit the enter key, move it over here somewhere. I'm going to do 3 wide. We're going to clear those ramps out. And the first thing we're going to do is hit the next thing we're going to do, I'm hit the escape to back out of that, and I hit D key again. It's out of habit. I could have stayed in that menu. I'm going to hit D to mine. So press D, mine is selected. I think it's selected by default, but it doesn't matter. I am going to click, we're going to mine that, and we're going to go down here. We're going to mine that. And it's kind of like you're creating a box. So we're going to mine that out. And I am going to do 3 down here. It's going to be a 12. This is important. I'm doing of 3s. Why do you want to do 3s? Well, that's because you've got a trade caravan. Trade caravans are wagons that can fit in 3 wide spaces. So we're basically creating a tunnel that I hit the escape key when I clicked on the wrong spot, so I hit the escape to back out. So hit D again. You can do DD for the mining. And I'm just I messed up. I must hit channel D for mine. It's not a perfect system, but hit that again. And I'm creating a second tunnel here. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And we're creating another. Crap. Escape when you make a mistake on that. And if you really make a mistake, and I'm going to show you here in a second because I need one more. What am I doing wrong? D for mine, and then press enter to start. All right. And I want it to actually extend over here. And I'll explain why I'm doing this too. I'm going to hit the N to now the N is remove construction. That's why I have this menu on here because I can never remember. X to remove designation. So I press X, it highlights X, press enter. I enter twice and it removes that designation. D to go back to mine. And we've mined a tunnel here. And the reason I've done this is because we're going to build traps. And traps catch people. You can't build traps in the path of the caravans anymore. They've changed that in the latest patch. So you have to basically build a shorter route. And goblins and dwarves both travel the shortest route when given the option. Dwarves won't step on the traps, but goblins will. So you basically have a shorter path. Goblins take it, they go down a hallway, and you have traps in there. Alright, so we're good there. Now, what do I want here? Yeah, I want. And I'm going to build the size for the trade depot, which is 5 wide and 5 tall. So the trade, I'm building build a square here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Yeah, it's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did I make that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And we got a square 5 by 5 for the trade depot. And while we're at it, and this is first to set up everything, I'm going to build a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 9 by 12 storage room. This is going to be for the trade depot. And then we're going to start building other stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and do this now before getting creative. So we're going to build our tunnel. D to mine, enter to select, enter to start one area, start the other. What do I need? All right. First thing we need is a once I get inside, it doesn't really matter if it's 3 or 4 or 3 or 2. Oh, I did 3, so might as well keep it that way. Keep everything uniform. I'm building a cross tunnel. And first we're going to build a living area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we're going to build a kitchen off of that. I'm visualizing this in my head here. It's going to be haphazardly, but that's where they're going to live. And this is where they're going to have food. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, that's where they're going to have food. Actually, I'm going to... Well, that's to the edge of the wall. All right, well, that's good. I got to the edge of the map. So, and also we need a place for chickens. Chickens are important. Oh shit! I messed that up. Hold on. Yeah, I messed this map up. We need a hallway. So I'm gonna hit the X to remove designation. Enter to start. Enter to move. Back to D. I like to keep everything uniform. Makes the map look nice. You know, I don't even know if this is going to be mud or not. All right. We got our kitchen, got living area. All right, 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to build the kitchen a little bit bigger. I'll make the living area a little bit bigger too. Put a statue garden in there. Put it all together. And I'll talk about statue gardens later. They're a kind of interesting thing to have. Alright, so I need to remove X. I'll put a door at the bottom, at the top, so they can move, leave, and enter quickly, going in one direction. And oh, we don't want that there. Extra. All right. This is our chicken area. I'm going to build workshops. Workshops are going to be 1 unit. Let me see, my miners are going to have a lot to do. We're not going to have it right. That makes me angry, but oh well. entrance down here. Hold on. And these are for workshops. Workshops are basically buildings that basically build items. And you generally want them 3 wide. Well, I do 2 wide. I don't know why I do that, but alright. Normally I build it another direction, but I don't know. I feel like I should add more space. There's a reason why there needs to be enough space to wall off the workshops, called strange moods, which the dwarves occasionally get. Alright, that's enough workshops right now, and we need another 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, And one more. One more. Hold on. How much did I do? I'm being anal here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. I think I need one more. Oh hell, I don't need to be more. I just need. Actually, I do need one more. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Basically, I need for finished goods a general goods stockpile and a stone stockpile. And we've got enough room. We can expand to the right, I believe, if we need more space. All right. So we've designed our first workings of our fort. All right. First thing we want to do, I'm going to make a stockpile for wood while we're at it. Hit the escape key to back out of this menu. Hit the P button for stockpiles. And I'm hit the W for wood. I'm going to just make a wood stockpile right here. We'll need wood. Because once we're inside, we need to build wooden things. So might as well do it while we're waiting on the dwarves to mine. Alright, so I'm going to hit escape to back out of that wood stockpile. I'm hit the D key. To this designation, hit the T key, T as in Tom, to chop down trees. Select an area. I'm going to go down here. Select that area. Hit resume. And the resume button was the space bar, by the way, if you didn't catch that. And away they go. Sorry, I didn't show the first thing. They just plowed through those ramps, and they're digging away. What are the sponge men? I'm sorry, I was kind of interested in what the sponge men were doing. If they're going to kill me or what. No, they're just going to... Not all creatures will kill you, but they will. By the way, if you ever need to get back to the starting point, it's the F1 key. F1 at the top. And away they go. Alright, while we're waiting on that, I need to build... a well. Oh, I struck Sard, which is a gem. Oh, look at them go. Alright. I'm gonna save time and start building the well. And I'm going to do it from, because we got stone to work with now. And I am going to place it needs to be bigger than 3 by 3. Alright, I'm going to hit the escape. I was just seeing what those were. I'm going to hit the B button to build. And you can use the minus key to kind of go through each of those. But I know which one I want. I want the C button for capital C for construction. And I'm going to hit W for wall. Hit the U key, and this is complicated. Bear with me. Hit the U key to kind of make the expansion higher. All right. I need 4, because we need a place to stand. When you pull water out of the well, you have to stand somewhere. And it's good to have a well, because if you run out of alcohol, you have something else to drink. And you also have something, I guess you have something to, I guess best way to wash you can also wash your dwarves. You can wash dwarves, and it's also for whatever reason, patients in the hospital in the dwarven hospitals don't drink alcohol. They get water. And you need water to wash their wounds. You don't want stagnant water, because they'll get sick and die from the infection. So I'm going to build a wall. Hit the U key to kind of make the selection here. You notice it turns red if I try to put over one of these trees. I could cut one of these trees down, but it's not necessary. So I'm going to hit the enter key. And I already got shell here. I got 29 units of shell. And I can hit the enter button to do each item. Otherwise, I can hit shift enter and select all the shell at once. Shift enter. A lot of people didn't know that, by the way, and it saved me a lot of time once I figured that out. So I'm going to build another wall, because you can't do it. You can't make a square, unfortunately. I'm going to build it on this side. I can just press the enter key, and you can see what happens. You just press enter. And I build one more. And our mason will be doing something while we're waiting on the digging to commence. Fortunately, in the newer versions, the carrying of stones is heavy. You can use wheelbarrows. Unfortunately, they don't usually do wheelbarrows. I guess you could do a stockpile over there and then use a wheelbarrow to get to the stockpile. Like if I hit Q and let me make sure you understand that. You hit the Q button to do, I guess the best way to explain, Q actually lets you modify and tweak buildings. Like if there's a building that has settings, or if you want to build something, Q is to get access to it. So I hit Q and I look at the stockpile. And the max wheelbarrow is 0. I'm going to hit W so I can actually use a wheelbarrow. Probably not necessary for... I'm going to speed things up. I just realized something. I'm going to speed things up with that thing. And this is, if you're doing like a construction project, if you're building your outdoor castle, you do want to make a stockpile near the actual thing. So I hit P to make stockpile. I hit the S for stone. And I hit corner here, corner there. And I make sure I hit the escape key to get out of that. Hit the Q button to select it, and then to make sure, well, it's already got a wheelbarrow. Let me go to the other thing. We're not going to use wheelbarrow for wood. Hit W to go to 3 is max. Hit W again to go to 0. Alright, so they're going to use the wheelbarrow to haul the stones over to the project. I need to build a ramp. We hit B and C. And I'm going to build a ramp. Hit the U for ramp. Why do we need that? Is because I want to get onto the roof of this little hut I've just made. Use shell. Use shell hut. Or I used now you can see how you can undo a designation. All right, hit the space bar to pause. I did a stairs instead of a ramp. Hit the Q button. I think Q button. All right, yeah, Q is the select the building waiting to be built. I'm gonna hit X to remove a building. So before it gets built, you can do that, and no harm, no foul. B button again. C, capital C. It does matter. It's case sensitive. And I'm going to do a R for ramp. I must hit something else. Yeah, there we go. So it's going to build a ramp to get on the roof. I could build stairs, but you have to build 2 stairs to get it to work. A ramp, if you build a ramp, you don't have to build an up, down. You only build one, and you can get up there. But personally, when you're inside, I always build stairs because it seems more... The dwarves can step on things. I don't know. It just seems more logical. All right. See the guy's getting a wheelbarrow. He's running out there, dropping off the stone so the mason can build my little project. All right. And I need to build. While we're here, I'm going to go ahead and designate a way to get... What I'm actually doing is building an underground way to get to the well. And I'm doing it here because you have to have it same water level as the thing. If I had built the well on this level, the river would flood the fort, and you don't want that. It has to be kind of like, you know, working with fluid dynamics here. You want it to be on the same, above the water level. So you can when you channel it out, it'll, I don't know. So basically here we need to build what do I need to build? Alright, I'm trying to figure out how to do that without flooding it. Where is he's going to get? He's not getting rocks from the right. My mason's being dumb. He's not getting rocks from the work pile. So that work pile's for nothing. I don't know. I'm glad the sponge men aren't actually killing my dwarves. Because you actually can't kill sponge men, by the way. If you get a forgotten beast sponge monster, it's like impossible to kill. You can actually capture it and use it for training dummies, but it's almost impossible to kill. Alright. So my dwarves are still mining. While this is going on, they're going to be eating and drinking. That blue arrow you see, that means they're thirsty and they're drinking out of the barrel. Oh, and it's raining. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. They don't mind the rain. Well, sometimes they do, but that arrow means they're a thing. But I haven't built beds or anything. I'm not really worried about when you're first starting out. You don't really worry because they don't care that they can sleep outside. They don't need to have a bed. They generally are you know okay behaved critters or dwarves. What is that? A squirrel. Hit the K. Again, let's see what we got here. What's this? Green tree frog. Cat must have ate a green tree, and that's a rat. Or the rat's, I don't know what the rat's doing. Cat, see that cat? It's going to go after it. Oh, you just awesome. That's one thing I love about this game is that everything has a mind of its own. See, that cat just ran out there and just mauled that little rat. And this little things make this so interesting if you just keep your eye on it. There's so much stuff that happens without you seeing it. But the cats will kill little critters. I hope they don't attack. I'm afraid this cat's going to get killed by the sponge man. Alright. Why is my axe dwarf not... Oh. I just realized why my axe dwarf isn't chopping down trees because he's just... I set him as a carpenter, not a woodcutter. So I'm going to hit the U key. And I'm going to find my carpenter. U key gives you a list of everybody visible. And I'm going to go to carpenter. And I'm going to hit the C key. That goes into this mode. I'm going to hit, this is complicated, so bear with me. Hit the P as in Paul key for profession, and then L as in labor. Use the minus and plus sign to move up and down this menu here. You can't use the arrow keys. I don't know why. Wouldn't make sense. I guess the arrow keys you can move around the map. So I'm going to go in the woodworking. Carpentry is selected, but not wood cutting. So I'm going to select carpentry or wood cutting. Press enter. He's now enabled to cut woods. I let go. He's going to grab that one of those axes and he's going to go to town chopping woods. Now, just a word of warning. Word of warning. Sometimes elves get really pissy if you cut down a lot of trees. So I generally try to avoid cutting down until I know if the elves are going to invade or not. So I usually wait till I've got enough defenses before clearing the forest. Generally, elves trade worthless scraps in their caravan, so it's sometimes okay to kill them. But they do have awesome animals that you can trade for. So sometimes it's worth not getting the elves pissed off, but most people on the forums will tell you only a good elf is a dead elf. So, oh, and you can't trade wooden items to the elves either. They get so angry and they'll leave immediately if you try to trade them. And that's the thing; they only have wooden items to sell you, but the elves will not take any wooden items. Even if you buy a wooden item from them and try to sell it back to them, they get all mad. Don't ask me. That's the way the elves are in this game. And that's the caravans show up while we're waiting for the fort to be dug out here. The caravans show up, let's see, elves show up in the spring, humans show up in the summer, and dwarves show up in the fall. And that's the order of it's kind of important too, because you have to trade with them at certain times, and you get stuff that you normally can't get otherwise. If you don't have iron on the site, that the only way to get it is to trade it. So it's kind of important to have caravans. Unfortunately, they get mauled by ambushers and general goblin attacks and things like that. Elves don't have any defense, so when the ambushers attack the elves, they generally all die. Humans have defenders, but if they die, they get angry and sometimes blame you for the assault, and they sometimes will lay siege to your fort until you surrender or make peace with them. All right. While we're here, I'm going to go ahead and build. The other thing important to this is a floor, because we want, if there's flying monsters, we don't want flying monsters to fly over the wall and get to our well. So I'm going to build a floor. I'm going to hit the B button to build. It's capital C to go to constructions, and floor is F. I use the U key to go up and down here to increase the selection. Press enter when I've got the area that I want, making sure I have shell instead of the logs. Occurred to me reason why is not, I probably should have made the depot before I, oh, I know why it's not working. The reason why the depot is not working was because the well, they'll use the stones for the roof, I guess, at least. But it just occurred to me that the reason why is not working because they have the when you select the stone, it does it for whatever distance it's at. So it probably did the closest stone over here. Unless they move those particular pieces, they won't actually pull that. Alright, we're still digging here. Sometimes it's worth going with a third miner. I may have, since I get so construction off the bat, it might be worth doing a third miner, but we're not going to worry about that now. Actually, we could use the other peasant, but they're going to go really slow since I didn't give them any mining skills. Alright, while we're here, I need to mine out this to get to that well. I don't know why. I think getting to the well is just kind of important. So, all right. So, all right. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna designate. I'm gonna use stairs instead of wells. first thing I'm going to do a designate. I'm going to do a downward stairway, which is the J key. Hit the J, double tap, double enter. And we've got a downstairs to be dug out of the earth. And then I'm going to do a upward stairway, which hit the U key, double tap enter, and we got U. So I can see where we need to go. All right. Well, there is a water in the way. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mine a single channel out. I'm mining this all out. And we're going to go to about here. And we're going to build a I'm just going to build the stairs here. So I'm going to do downward stairway J, J again, D. I don't know why I'm doing a three-way here, but I just feel like it should be three. And the upward stairway U. Oh, I did down. Dur. All right. Blurg. Sorry, 3D Rock fan there. All right, hit X to remove designation. And I'm going to do U for up. No, U for upward, not J for down. I don't know why I was building downward stairway there. All right. And so we're going to have a pathway from here, down here, all the way over to our... We have to do this underground because we don't... One of the key defense mechanisms of the dwarfs is the ability to wall themselves in, and you want to do everything underground if possible. And the reason I had to build an above ground is because of the water pressure and so on. It wasn't really a good way around that. All right, now we need to build... Damn it. X to remove. What am I doing here? All right. All right. And I don't want this to connect to the well. I'm going to dig a channel here. Oh, shit. Can't do it there. I can't. Oh, yeah, I can. I can't build. All right. D for designation. Channel's digging a hole, basically. So I want to dig a hole right here. And did I do that right? All right, I'm just making sure I'm not digging right into the water there. And channel there, and a channel will build a ramp down there. All right, so we down here do D for dig. All right, there we go. So we got access to the well, and we don't really want them to connect because we don't want to flood our own tunnel there. We could, but you know, that'd be kind of dumb. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hit an I'm going to create another hotkey while we're here to actually capital H for hotkey, I believe. H, yeah. I'm going to create, and I always do this for my trade depot, is going to be F2, hit the F2 key, then hit Z as in zebra to zoom. So escape. Now, wherever I go, whatever level I'm at, hit F2, it goes to my trade depot. Hasn't built it yet, but it will. All right, yeah, I should have went to the third miner. They're digging down there. All right, and this is... We'll be using this area down here in the sand, actually. We'll see what we get when it tunnels all the way through, but I believe most of this is clay. I think everything near the riverbed is sedimentary clay, and that's where we're going to build our farms. And we'll get into that. All right. Looks like we got ways to go here of mining. Is there anything else I can do? Yeah, I can go ahead and build the rest of that wall. No, I can't. Gotta wait for the miner to dig all the way through before I close them. Because you can like Sims, you can wall people up and they'll die of thirst and hunger if you wall them up. So that's why I'm not building that last little keyhole there. Actually, I need to build. Do we need? Oh, I kind of messed this build up. No, I think we're fine. I could have put a lot more traps in that hallway, but. And I'm thinking about. Personally, I was thinking about building a hole here so they can get to it, but I don't know. I feel like I always like to keep more defenses. I'm going to build, thinking this out, I'm going to build defenses right through here in this little area here. So when you design your fort, you have to kind of think ahead in advance. Otherwise, it gets kind of cramped if you do it too chaotic. But usually I generally do it like organically, but people do it differently. You may have a different theory behind your fort. It's all up to you. As long as you're comfortable with it. You don't have to follow my example in these, but it's kind of recommended to actually build some type of traps, especially for newbies, because building a military is important, but it's very hard for a noob. So I recommend kind of using traps as a crutch. So using a longer hallway with a little shorter period where you can throw traps in is a plus. Alright. This is going to take a while before I get started. Instead of letting everybody, instead of having everybody watch while we painfully dig this out, and you might, when you do yours, you might not want to do the entire fort at once, but I like to do that personally because I get everything started out. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. We're going to call this quits for this is going to be episode 1. And we're going to get to, once they finish digging out my tunnels here, we're going to get to episode 2. We're going to get to things like building. We're going to get to building farms, building workshops, the core of actually building your industry of your Dwarf Fortress. And we'll get to that. So basically, this is hopefully get you started on digging everything out, because that actually is one of the hardest parts is actually getting started. Once you get started, the next part will be good. So let me pause this, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good night.